Howdy and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. This time we have a rather old band from Sweden. This one is Sarcasm from 1990s. Now this name could totally lead you in different places. I mean, I had never expected to find a kind of a blackish band with the name Sarcasm. To be honest, I would totally expect some kind of a heavy metal and trash metal when it comes to the name, but here it is. This band was originally founded as early as 1990, so very much an old school band. However, this band didn't get to record a full album, and it was something like 2016 or so. So something very, very different happened with this band, and maybe that's why, even being old school and old veteran name, this band haven't got the success and fame for their music. This could be described as something like blackened death or just melodic black death metal, because this is in fact very much like going back to the 1990s with the style. So let's tune in for Metal Archives on the background while I'll tell you a little bit more. So founded in 1990s in Uppsala, this band started and was active for a few years, did a couple of demos, quite a few actually. Like the old school ways, you do demos and demos and demos, and then finally someone wants to sign you because your music actually makes sense and all that stuff. Now maybe things weren't going as planned because this band ceased to exist, took quite a bit of a break, only to come back, and when they made the comeback, there were actually quite a few albums already happening, like you see here, Brutal Dimension in 2016, and the next year, and a couple of years later, couple of more albums, and here we have this band in 2022 with Stellar Stream Obscured, with very nice 40 minutes and then some to deal their music to you with the 8 tracks or so. So this is very, very easy to just go with the very basic ways of, you know, Swedish black death metal. I would say this is definitely more about melodic Swedish black metal rather than just black death, because once you actually figure out how this band plays out and how it sounds, you don't really get that kind of a death metal feeling unless you're considering melodic death metal to be exactly like death metal. Now that's a topic for another time, but what I'm saying here is that basically bands such as Dark Tranquility, early In Flames, and bands like Gate of Ishtar, they did have the kind of a thing which were very much like compatible with this kind of stuff. But basically, you would say this roughly goes into the same box or genre as bands like earlier Dissection or Mörgruning even, but more, I guess, into the same box with bands such as Unanimated. Now, you figured out already, those are all Swedish bands, so you should be now quite aware what this band is much like. Now, the downside of this is that this isn't exactly original. In fact, this sounds like all the way what was happening in the earlier mid-1990s. So this is like a relic from those early 1990s days, and not necessarily in a positive way. I wouldn't say in a bad way either, but it seems like this is a little bit late to the party. Now, a lot of bands have since, you know, polished or evolved with their sound, progressed how they do songs. Some go the bad way, some the good way, but Sarcasm seems like, hey, let's have this 1994 party with this album. That applies both to the production, that is the sound of the album and everything here, but also the kind of a style they are doing riffs and melodics with. Quite easy to get into, quite easy to just feel like, hey, this is pretty goddamn listenable. But also, I must say, this is overshadowed by a lot of those more famous, more successful, more experienced bands. Because, like I said, this band was away a lot of years. And even though this isn't exactly the first or second album, the thing here is, these guys have a lot to do in order to get compared in a good way to those old names. So, the verdict being, this is quite an okay album, but far from being exactly great, because, at least from my perspective, there are so many other albums and bands doing the same style, roughly, give or take, with just a little bit better touch. Some are way better, some are worse, and that's how it is. But if you like the Swedish style, there's no reason why not give this a chance, because it might be just for your taste. So give it a go. You will find links provided in the description box. Go and enjoy it. Take care.